Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Investing with the Difference. We are back with a quick update on EOS. Specifically, I think there are quite a few good news which I would like to share first before we discuss what are the other things going on. But first of all, very, very exciting day. I think a voice which everybody was waiting for. They announced that finally they have a date, and this is a road to beta. That means it's a beta launch. It's not the main. And as you remember, when B1 June happened, Block One was very clear that the first launch will be a beta launch where they will allow people to test it out, iterate it before they launch a proper voice app with the real valuable tokens, which is the voice token which you can earn. Also, it gives them an opportunity to go do KYC and so on early on, because it will definitely be take it will be a lot of difficulties around doing this scale of project which they are trying to do. So if you have not signed up yet, do join the beta program which they opened up since B1 June. Many of us are already very excited about it, and definitely it was a long wait. And I hope that this February 14th, 2020, which is the Valentine's Day of next year, which is not too far away now, I think it's a little over 2 months, we will see and touch and feel voice, and hopefully it will create a new wave of excitement around EOS. But one thing which has to be keep in mind, if you go to their FAQ, which is the questions on their website, in the beta phase, voice is going to run on a custom EOS.io blockchain. That means it will not be deployed on mainnet. They have mentioned that they would like to leverage public blockchain, that is EOS mainnet, and potentially other chains. So they are talking about multi-chain, very similar to what Dan talked about at the Virginia Tech recent event. And I think there is a lot of coverage from everything EOS and many other people talking about it. So I think it's pretty clear that the way people see a big app running in this ecosystem is definitely not running everything on mainnet. This brings us to this whole discussion on what is going on recently. A lot of people have complained about Rex and so on. First of all, again, a good news. Rex is pretty much liquid since December 1st. If you are following me on Twitter, I've been sharing a lot of information. If you are following all the other information, the good news is that it is liquid, it is stable, it is not very expensive. So if you're a DApp, you can get 915 EOS right now for one EOS. And when it opened up, it was available for like 1200. One EOS was able to give you 1200 and sometimes even 1500 or 1600 EOS. So because people were waiting for it, so there was a big jump in loans. So on the first day, that is December 1st, there were 34 million EOS worth of loans issued. There was a big day payday for Rex holders. So this is the curve which EOS authority shares. And as you can see, there was a huge income in Rex on December 1st. Interestingly, there was another good day for Rex even before that, because of the RAM fee, where somebody tried to mine RAM and tried to pump the price of RAM, which did not really happen, but it definitely helped get good returns for Rex holders. So if you are still worried about not having your tokens in Rex, I think it's a mistake, because all these system fee, whether it is Rex payments from dApps, whether RAM fee, name fee, all this is accumulating as rewards for you. So do not worry about it. Even though there was a lockup last month because of the limit, which did not allow Rex to go through and the withdrawals to go through, everybody who lined up for withdrawal got their EOS back. That is, the worst case for you is 30 days of lockup. And if you're a long-term investor, I don't think you care about 30-day lockup. And the system worked perfectly. Anybody who wanted to withdraw was able to withdraw when the X loans expired. And now I think we have much lesser tokens because people got spooked by that lockup last month. But those who kept their tokens, they got pretty decent return. So, and now we see that a lot of money is coming back into Rex. So these are the maturity chart. That means the recently deposited Rex, which is still maturing, which means it is not yet ready to withdraw. And we have we had slowed down yesterday, but again, I see today there is a million EOS which flowed into Rex. So it's a good sign. I think overall it's becoming healthy. Uh, of course, there are issues. The lockup should not have happened. The rate curve can be a little more steep, or the limits can be adjusted. But that was, as I explained previously, that was an extreme case when Rex was too cheap before that big IDOS mining started, and that created a panic, and many people got it for cheap who were misusing that for mining. Let's not call it misusing because it's up to them, and it was fair deal because Rex was cheap. Somebody took it and started mining. But now this month it automatically balanced it out because you cannot do that again because the dApps were waiting to lease and the Rex never got that cheap. So overall, I would say system is healthy again. Rex is functioning as it should be, and it's available for dApps at a reasonable price, which is at a 1% APR. By the way, if you calculate this per month fee, 1 EOS for 915, and if you multiply it by 12, that is 12 EOS for 915, it's not very expensive. It's a little over 1% APR, which is still one of the cheapest capital available if you are buying resources. Then I see a lot of FUD around, oh, you cannot do much, even with the hundreds of EOS or 50 EOS staked or 10 EOS staked, you cannot do much. Let me show you my investing with a difference account. So this is on blocks. This is investing with a difference account. You all know about this account. This is the proxy account as well. All I did, if I go to the Rex now, all I did was I paid, let's go to the borrow. I paid 0.25 fee and borrowed 344 worth of EOS. So I only paid 0.25 EOS for the full month. And I have 344 EOS staked, and I paid 0.005 EOS for net. So I don't need to stake anything. I just need to pay this monthly fee, which is very low. It's like almost, you're talking about less than $1. In fact, it's like 50 cents or so, or 60, 70 cents or so. Now, this is able to keep me, I'm investing with a difference account. I am actually a custodian on or custodian candidate on Vigor. I was signing transaction at that time on Vigor. Right now, I'm not a top 21, so I don't sign M6, but I'm doing some transaction there. I even voted because it's a proxy and we do vote. I even voted and it made some complex transactions. I'm doing token transfers. Everything is possible with this small amount of stake. I'm sure if you stake even lower in Rex, if you really buy a zero point 0.1 or lower EOS worth of Rex, you can do most of the transactions. So I really wonder why people are complaining about EOS being so expensive not to be able to operate. Now, let me give you another example, which is again a public account, which is a Blockstart AC. This is our DSP. We run up to Blockstart DSP, and we have staked here. Actually, it's not visible, but we have almost 130,000 EOS staked. I don't know, Block sometimes doesn't work properly. It's not showing exactly how much is staked. And we have almost 130,000 EOS staked, and we are doing, like, if you just go and load these actions, we are doing like amazing number of transactions right now. Our DSP is heavily used. We have like thousands and thousands of transactions happening on this, and it is, the cost of that was very similar to what it is for running on AWS, running a node like $500, $600 a month, which is not very expensive. So I'm just trying to highlight that even though CPU cost has gone up, for real businesses, for people who really care about, creating economic value on blockchain, it's not prohibiting you from running an app or anything. Yes, we would love to have more scalable solutions where we have even cheaper solutions available for apps. And this is where I think we are excited about liquid apps and other technologies. And also it will be much cheaper if more of you deposit into Rex. So right now people are like only 78 million tokens are in Rex, which is very, very small amount. I'm talking about less than 8% of the total EOS supply here. 92% people are not participating in Rex. So this cost will keep coming down if more people participate. So we did talk about this in our hackathon submission. So it's a 3-minute video on our channel. I hope everybody watches this. We have proposed a very, very important change, which is people like to keep their tokens on centralized exchanges. And right now, we believe that more than 500 million tokens, which is almost half of the total EOS supply, exists on centralized exchanges. And we are suggesting that we can actually implement, using Liquid Apps technology, this solution of Rex or a resource lending directly from centralized exchange. So you do not have to, I think people do not like wallets. People do not like to have their own accounts. This is the biggest reason many people like to keep their tokens on centralized exchanges. They like the liquidity of that. So why not allow them to participate in Rex, in even participate in voting from that? And we have proposed the solution. Do watch this video. And we would like the community to go and keep this discussion alive. The technology is there, scalability is there, we can do that. It's a matter of really putting these efforts together and enabling these services. So overall, I think while I agree there is a lot of concerns in terms of people who were assuming that EOS is very cheap to run, and many apps are saying that they cannot do business anymore. But my view is that it's all about this is blockchain will never be cheap. And if it is cheap, let me ask you one question. What if the EOS token price has gone up by 20 times or 30 times? Everybody who is investing in EOS will be happy, but that also means that dApps will find it more and more expensive resources. So if we are saying that the cost of resources going up is bad for EOS, that and that the dApps will run away from it, then there is no case for EOS price to go up. But my conclusion is it's all about economic value you are creating. If voice is able to create economic value, remember, voice is going after a use case, which is Facebook use case. Facebook generates billions and billions of dollars of returns for their investors on every year, their profits as a company, as a corporate, using just a simple social media app. So if voice is able to create that economic value, or other apps on EOS, which we are all working towards, that will define how much these apps can pay. And if you are able to create economic value, then you will not find this cost, which is pretty cheap to run, if blockchain is really valuable to you. If you are just another app which is not using blockchain to disrupt, and if you're just trying to port a standard app on blockchain, I'm sure you're finding it more expensive to run here. And I'm sure that you cannot afford blockchain, because blockchain is, you should not do it for the sake of it. You have to create real economic value using blockchain. And that will define how much price EOS token will be, and how much people will value the EOS resources. Whether the price goes up because more people are using it, or whether the EOS token price goes up, either way, if EOS is successful, the resources will not be cheap. And any chain, any sister chain, or any other chain, if they are saying that, oh, this is a failure of EOS, it's I think they're not understanding that it's a success of EOS which is causing these resources to go up. And that is what everybody has to understand. Any chain which wants to be successful, they have to plan for expensive resources, because that's what success means. Right now, yes, you can attract other dApps and other things just by saying that come to us, we are cheaper, but that doesn't mean that that will remain so if you really become successful. So do not look at short term, look at long term. And everybody who is invested in EOS, or who is concerned about what's the future of EOS, do not see this as an issue right now. It's an opportunity to understand that how apps should evolve to create an economic model and economic incentive to operate on EOS. And that's what is changing right now. And it's a great learning from last 1 month. And that's what I wanted to highlight. So I think these are a couple of things which I wanted to cover: the Rex status of CPU and everything, my views on what's going on in the in this area. Very exciting stuff from Block One. I hope that this time they do launch on February 14th as they have promised, because it's still not, by the way, it's not promised. They're saying they are trying to get it out as a beta. So if you see here, all it says is that they are trying to go and launch on February 14th. So let me see where it is. Yeah, so what they're saying is they're trying their best. We are aiming for a launch. So let's see how that goes. I'm surely expecting a lot of marketing from them on this road to beta, as they have promised. So it will be very exciting time. As we all saw, B1 June event was amazing. I was part of this event. I'm sure if you see in this picture, I wish there was enough light, but I'm sitting in the second row on the left side. But what I'm trying to highlight is it was a great event. The Block One is very, very promising app. Voice, as we all know, is in terms of social media, in terms of the contribution it can make. I hope it generates a lot more interest and visibility into EOS. While I'm not at all concerned from the amount of building which is happening on EOS, and the solutions which are coming, like the Liquid Apps hackathon was amazing. The kind of teams which are participating in that, like, if you look at those, there was some amazing technical talent there. All of them are developing on EOS. Remember that those teams, whether they won or not, whether the projects, like, if I'm sure that you must have seen all the pitches. They was really, really great projects, and those all are building on EOS, and they're all not giving up. They're looking at using layer 2 technologies to scale up, and that's what I think this community is about. So thank you once again for joining. We'll try to come back again and talk about more things, but do let us know what you think about our solution on bringing centralized exchange tokens for resource lending and for voting. Do tell us about what you think about voice announcement, and of course, what is your feeling about Rex and current status of CPU. Do send your comments. Do like and share this video just to make sure that everybody understands what's going on and not looking at the popular belief that oh something wrong is happening in EOS or something is totally broken. Um, we are working with the apps, and we can really see that things are moving. It's not the same, but there is nothing which is broken here. Thank you.